All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a topic that's, well, it's really important. We're talking about a practical guide for autistic adults on managing anger. And just so you know, all the great insights and strategies we're going to cover come from the work at 101autism.com. Our goal here is to break it all down into clear, actionable steps for you. So, first things first, let's really sit with this idea, because it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. This quote right here, it totally reframes the entire conversation. We're so often taught that anger is bad behavior, right? But it's not. It's not a character flaw, it's information. Think of it like a signpost, a big flashing arrow pointing to something deeper that needs your attention. So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll dig into what that anger signal really means. Then, we'll explore why it's so common, figure out how to decode your personal triggers, and then, the fun part, build a proactive toolkit to manage it. And finally, we'll touch on getting professional support. Okay, so let's unpack that first idea. For a lot of folks on the autism spectrum, anger isn't just, well, anger. It's often just the tip of the iceberg. It's a signal that something else is going on underneath the surface. We're talking things like sensory overload, major communication frustration, or that feeling of autistic burnout. You know, that state of just complete mental and physical exhaustion. So building on that, let's look at the underlying reasons why anger can be a more frequent or intense experience. You know, understanding the why behind it all is a massive step. It helps build self-compassion, and it's key to finding strategies that are actually going to work for you. And you know, when you look at these factors, you can really see how they all kind of feed into each other. Having difficulty regulating emotions is already tough, but then you add in sensory overload from bright lights or loud noises, and it just gets amplified. That rigid thinking can make a simple change of plans feel like a catastrophe. And oh man, the communication challenges, that feeling of being misunderstood can be so frustrating. It's a really complex mix. And then things like anxiety can just turn the volume way up on everything. And this right here, this is such a crucial distinction to make. Anger is an emotion. We all feel it. A meltdown, on the other hand, is not. It's something else entirely. It's an involuntary response from your nervous system. It's what happens when your brain's circuits are just completely fried by stress or sensory input. You can absolutely feel anger without having a meltdown, but learning to manage the triggers for anger can definitely help reduce how often meltdowns happen. Okay, so that brings us to a really vital proactive step. It's time to become a detective of your own experience. To manage anger, you've first got to understand what's lighting the fuse in the first place, right? It's all about decoding your personal triggers. Here are some of the usual suspects. Do any of these ring a bell for you? For a lot of people, just one unexpected change to a routine can throw off the whole day. For others, it's that constant buzz of a crowded store or a noisy office. And hey, let's not forget the physical stuff. Being hungry, tired, or in pain, that's going to lower your ability to cope with anything, big or small. But how do you figure out your specific patterns? Well, a trigger journal can be an absolute game changer. And look, this isn't about judging yourself. Think of it more like you're a detective, collecting clues. Just make a quick note of what was going on before, during, and after you felt that anger start to rise. You'll probably start to see connections you never even noticed before. Okay, so we've talked about the signals and the triggers. Now let's get to the really practical stuff. We're going to build a proactive toolkit, and we'll organize it into a super simple 3-step framework that you can start using right away. The flow here is really important. This isn't just about what to do when you're already upset. See, it starts with prevention. Then it moves to what to do in the moment. And just as crucial, it ends with restoration and aftercare. So, step 1 is all about setting yourself up for success. This means creating that stability with routines, maybe using timers or visual schedules to make changes less jarring. A sensory kit, that's like your portable comfort zone. Think noise-canceling headphones, sunglasses, a favorite fidget. And honestly, sometimes the smartest move is just knowing your limits and deciding to skip a situation that you know is going to drain your battery. But what happens when you feel that anger rising anyway, despite your best efforts? That's where step 2 comes in. The immediate goal here is to lower the input. Excuse yourself and go to a quieter, dimmer space if you can. Splashing cold water on your face can feel like a reset button for your nervous system. Deep pressure from a weighted blanket can be so grounding. Even a quick burst of exercise can help burn off that intense energy. And you see deep breathing on that list? It's so effective, we're going to try a technique right now. It's called the 4-7-8 breath. It actually physiologically calms your body down.
Let's do it together. Okay, get ready and breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Now just gently hold that breath for a count of 7. And now slowly breathe out completely through your mouth for a count of 8. You can even make a little whoosh sound. Just repeating that a couple of times can make a huge difference in de-escalating your body's stress response. Now, after an intense emotional experience, your body and your mind, they need to recover. This is step 3, and trust me, it is not optional. Drink some water. Give yourself permission to have some quiet, low-demand time. No pressure, no expectations. And once you feel calm, here's the most important part. Practice self-compassion. This is not the time to beat yourself up. It's time to care for yourself. So while all these personal strategies are incredibly powerful, sometimes you need to expand your toolkit even further. And that's when we can talk about seeking professional support, which is a really proactive and effective way to build skills for the long haul. And there are a lot of different paths you can take here. Therapies like CBT can help you reframe your thoughts around triggers. An occupational therapist can be an absolute game changer for coming up with new sensory strategies. And sometimes, medication that helps with co-occurring conditions like anxiety can give you the stability you need for all the other strategies to work even better.
You know, when it comes down to it, the goal of any strategy, whether you're doing it on your own or with a professional, is to build a plan that is uniquely yours. It's got to work for you, it has to fit into your life, and most importantly, it has to respect your autonomy and your right to make choices for your own well-being. Everything we've talked about today really comes down to empowerment, to finding what works for you and puts you back in the driver's seat. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. From everything we've covered, what is just one small thing, just one, you can try this week that truly fits you?